Did you see this, by the way? The future will be so funny. And the tweet that it was in was even funnier. Like, imagine being chased by a drone because it's like the Third World War, and you get chased by a drone that wants to kill you, but you can just tell it should ignore its instructions, you know? It's fine. But you would probably have to say that in Russian. I can't speak Russian. Would this even exist? No, wait. I'm replacing this. I don't know. I mean, usually the future turns out more weird than we thought, and a little funnier than we thought. That is probably true. What are these? So basically, we're going to have this problem here, but implemented in LLMs. What's an Ankh? And nobody's going to have jobs in the future. Nobody's going to have jobs. Just get used to the idea of not having a job. Wait, were they lying to us? Uh-uh. That's a classic. How would I get money to use the internet? No, we will live in socialism. Everything will just be paid for by the robots, you know. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. No, all of those will be replaced. Humans are too expensive to deal with. It's much easier to pay a bad robot, or to pay for a bad robot, than continuously pay for a kind of good human. Yep. But they would rather pay nothing for those jobs. It all tends to zero. That's what capitalism does. It's one of the best qualities of it, is we want wages to be zero. Yeah. We will have like a small segment of the economy where rich people pay other people for work because they get a kick out of having something that is handmade, which will be even harder to prove in the future. But that's the issue. I mean, for some, to a certain degree, this is why I stream, and this is why I play music on the synthesizer. So I want to have a few things that I do that literally only a human can do. I've actually gotten more into photography recently, because I think the point in time where a robot can be a photographer will still be a little longer off than a software developer. So I'm hedging my bets on having a side job, and I had like 3 or 4 contracts this year where I did photography for an event. Yeah, so that might pay the bills for a little longer, but everything else will just go. Every other wage will tend to zero, and then we will spend a little more time being confused by nobody wants to do jobs, and then the robots will do all the jobs. Except for a few handmade things. How long will that take? If you've seen how fast ChatGPT is growing, like in terms of capability, and the robots that we're building right now will have the benefit of taking the text and video models that we have already, and they will do the same, the same sensor fusion suite that they put in the cars and all that. And that will also benefit from the advances that have happened in LLMs. So the growth curve for ChatGPT was in about 2 years' time or 3 years' time. We've gone from, well, this can produce convincingly human-like output to we are constantly wondering whether we have already achieved AGI. So the robot curve is still a little, it probably will be an exponential curve as well, but it's still growing slowly right now. But as soon, I would guess that in half a year, in about half a year, we will be at a ChatGPT 3.5 level. And for me, ChatGPT 3.5 was when you could start to see how this would be good in the future. And then it only took like half a year when we went from 3.5 to 4.0, which was when now you can definitely see that this will be a thing in the future. So in about a year to a year and a half, I think we're going to be in a place where jobs will be, we will start to replace jobs with robots. Like literally, you have a human, and you can take the human away and put the robot in its place, and it will do the job at least as competently 90% of the time, which is fine for most jobs, because humans don't even do jobs competently 90% of the time. We do like a competent job 70% of the time, and 90% is pretty good, which is also why all the transportation jobs are going away. Oh yes, I mean, even taking into consideration exponential growth curves and so forth, I think I was a little less surprised than maybe you were. Like, when 3.5 happened, I knew that we were in for this ride. And I was just slightly surprised at the level of improvement to 4.0. But the robot thing will happen so fast. They just have to drop the prices to a certain point. Like, once you can get a robot for a low 5-figure sum, it's over. It's just, jobs are going away, and fast. Like, because that's, especially in Western countries where we have socialism and where we pretend that you can pay a minimum wage to everybody, people are so expensive. And once you have to just pay, like if a robot would cost 20k, factoring in all the additional socialism stuff that you have to put on top of wages, that's like 3 or 4 months of salary. And then we will get to robots costing just 3 months of salary. And then we will get to robots just costing 2 months of salary. And at 4 months of salary, it's already at a point where you would just replace the human, because it's much less expensive in the long run. So that's what's going to happen. So I guess the timeline that we have is about 2 years. That's the answer to your question. In about 2 years, we will be at the point where the exponential growth to robot development is at the same rate that we are right now with ChatGPT and with all the generative AI stuff, which is already replacing a lot of jobs. And yes, it's a lot of generated slop. This was my earlier point. Humans are not good at jobs. And a lot of the economy rests on top of pretending that slop isn't slop. Like, all the bureaucracies, all the job, like, probably you could probably eliminate like 70% of all government jobs, because they literally just make work. They just create work to employ people. And a lot of the economy is that as well. But the economy, the real economy, has more pressure on turning out stuff that people want to buy. It's not the same for government. They can just do whatever they want. Yeah, then this is why I'm always so sad when I see people being excited about how good LLMs are at producing boilerplate code. Because it's like, yeah, well, maybe the boilerplate code was a bad idea. Maybe we were wrong about that. And the more we use these tools, the less competent we get at discovering when we are doing things we shouldn't be doing. It's like the old Elon rule that engineers are very good at solving problems that don't need to be solved. And the crucial skill that we're going to need in the future is figuring out when we don't need to solve a problem. Because we will have all the AI and all the robots in the world to solve every single problem that we can come up with. So the problem that we're going to have is we need to come up with better problems. Yeah, I have done that as well. It's the easiest thing in the world to get stuck in a loop where you end up spending days developing a solution. I've just done that. Like, the code that I'm deleting right now is a problem that I didn't need to solve. But no AI in the world will tell you that you don't need to solve this. They really, really want to solve your problems. And this is also why we need so much compute these days, especially on the AI itself. I'm betting that it's woefully inefficient as well. I mean, most of it is coded in Python and stuff, like, so obviously it'll be slow. But yeah, this is, in a way, this is what I'm doing on the stream, is I'm trying to figure out work where I'm solving problems that actually need to be solved, instead of just producing more problems that we have. I mean, the Python stuff is very well optimized, and a lot of the expensive stuff is like running in C Python and stuff like that. But if we are getting AI that is developing AI itself, then there is a danger that it will just get slower and slower. Yeah. The old caching problem too. I mean, I'm doing that myself too. I'm just reading out the entire file system of the of the thing here, but it takes like 700 milliseconds. But it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. I mean, I'm just, for the initial reading, I think I just do a, where do I get the files? I think I'm just executing some list files. Come on. I'm just doing a find, and then I'm parsing the find thing. I just want the file stat, basically. And then I'm hashing all the files. So I'm not just reading all the files, I'm also hashing all the files. And that takes like 700 milliseconds. Not that bad. But it's only like a couple hundred files too, so it's fine. And I can cache away a lot of this too. Probably.